this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the Aegean Sea bracelet using the Arcos and Minos Puca beads. So I first want to start by showing you what the Arcos and Minos beads are. So I have a couple of colors here on my table, and these are the Minos beads, and I'm going to take my needle here just to pick one up so you can sort of see the whole orientation, but they're little cylindrical beads, and they have one hole, very nice and cute and tiny. And then we have the Archos beads, and these actually have 3 holes, and they are in a little arc. So you can kind of see how that hole is oriented there, and you have 3 holes to work with. And they do definitely fit very nicely together if you're looking for a design to do just that. So these are the Arcos and Minos Puca beads, and this is the Aegean Sea bracelet that we're going to be making here. Now I've done a black on black sort of color, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a variation on that using blue. And for the project you're going to need some Toho Bugle beads, and I used a twisted one here. I think it'll add a nice little flash. I have the Arcos and Minos, and then I have Toho 11-0 seed beads as well. And the only other thing that you're going to need is a magnetic clasp, a size 12 beading needle, and I'm using crystal FireLine today. And just go ahead and use whatever FireLine matches your color of beads that you're working with. You can also use the smoke as well, but I'm using the 0.006 size of FireLine. And I just wanted to kind of bring out some of the other colors that we have. We do have more colors available on the website, but I just wanted you to see how beautiful and fun and some of the different coatings on these beads. We have sort of that pastel, we have that metallic, then we also have some beautiful luster beads as well. So have a lot of fun and put your color palette together, and we're going to go ahead and get started making the Aegean Sea bracelet. Okay, so now we're going to begin doing the actual weaving of the bracelet, and just to kind of give you a quick overview, we're going to be building little units and sort of moving across the bracelet. So let me just go ahead and set that aside. So to begin, what you're going to do is you're going to pick up one of the Arcos beads from that far hole, and you're going to come through sort of the back side of that arch. And then you're going to pick up one Toho seed bead and just repeat that. So pick it up on the outside, one Toho seed bead, and this is my third one. There we go. And fourth and final Arcos, and one last seed bead. Now go ahead and slide that down towards the tail of your thread. And to add the clasp later, you're going to want to leave a good 8 to 12 inches or so. That looks good. And now you're just going to tie a simple overhand knot, bringing those 2 ends together. And you can see that we kind of have our wave pattern starting. And just go ahead and double knot that, just for a little extra security. All right, and pull tight. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to take my thread and I'm going to go through that second hole of the Arcos that is directly to the right. So you see I've made a little thread bridge there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a Minos bead, and I'm going to go through that blue seed bead right there, that dark blue seed bead. And again, coming out of that seed bead, you're going to go into the center hole. Just rotate my work here. And we're going to pick up another Minos bead, go through that seed bead, And I'm just going to continue to work my way all the way around this unit, going through that center hole, picking up a Minos, and going through that seed bead. Again, through the center hole, picking up one Minos, and going through that seed bead. I'll just get my tail out of the way. Okay, so this is what your unit should look like now. So you've got this sort of curved pattern, and you just want to make sure that your arcs are all going the same way. And my thread is coming out of that seed bead right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, again, just go through, but I'm not going to go through that Minos bead there. I'm going to go down and through. And now I'm going to go up through that third hole on that Arcos. And I'm ready to add my second unit. Let me just make sure my tension's nice and good. Just squeeze it together. So now I'm going to pick up one seed bead, and the orientation that I want for my next Arcos is to sit next to it, just like so. So I'm going to pick up that one seed bead, and I'm going to go down through this side of that Arcos and pick up one more seed bead. And now I'm going to go back through that same first hole. So that it comes and sits right next to it, just like so. Okay, so we're ready to move on and to build that second unit. So I have my thread coming through that third hole there. So all I'm going to do is retrace that thread path to go through that seed bead one more time, down through that first hole, up through the center hole, and now you can see that it's going to be a little bit of a reverse pattern, but this is sort of where it starts to look a little bit like a right angle weave. So you just sort of reverse it. What you're going to do is you're going to pick up a seed bead, and just to show you, because you want to get the orientation of your Minos beads correct, what you're going to do is you're just going to add a seed bead. Now you're going to go through the top hole of, or I guess through the front. I consider this sort of the front of that Arcos bead, so that you get that orientation. They're going the right way. Does that make sense? Okay. So then pick up another seed bead, and again, you're going to be going through that first hole there, picking up another seed bead. Again, I'm just trying to lay this out for you so that you get the sense. And as long as your arcs are all facing the same way, you are in business. And then pick up one more seed bead, and we're going to go back down through that first hole there. There we go. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go through that seed bead and through the next Arcos. And now you're all set to turn around and go through that center hole. Now I'm just going to kind of flip my work around so you can see my first unit is over here now. And I'm going to pick up a Minos and go through that seed bead. And this part is just like before. And just keep going through that center. So work your way all the way around this unit in the same way. And you want to keep really good tension. You also want to make sure that your Minos bead faces up, so you get that flat circle on top. You don't want it so it's sort of facing sideways. So you might have to, again, that's a tension thing, so you just might have to kind of wiggle it around. Okay, and now you can see on this unit, and this might happen depending on how you're working, I'm all the way over here, but I need to be all the way over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my thread around, and I'm going to go through the center hole, and I'm going to try to catch that Minos bead. I might have to do 2 passes. Yes, I'm going to have to do 2 passes. You know, it's not gonna let me do that. So I'm gonna go through that first hole there. There we go. And all I need to do is just work my way around, and securing your work is never a bad thing. So just get through this last circle here, and I'm going to meet you over here on this other side. And now I'm just going up through. I got all tangled. So now I'm back at the end of my second unit, and I'm ready to go back down through and to make the next unit. And you can see that I'm going to go this way around the unit. So you just keep working until you have your desired amount of units. I will say that for sizing, this is 7 units long, and this gives me a 6.5 inch bracelet. So if you need to do more than that, each of the little units is a little under an inch. It's between 3/4 of an inch to an inch, depending on the length of clasp. And I'll show you how to adjust that as we get towards it. So go ahead and finish your units. I'm going to do 7, and I will meet you back here to show you the next step. So now we're ready for the second portion. And like I said, I have 7 of my, I guess we'll call them waves, coming out here. And my thread is coming out the orientation of that last hole coming out the bottom there. So now to add on our clasp, I'm just going to separate my clasp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 3 of the seed beads. I'm going to pick up the loop of the clasp, and it will get attached to your needle, so just go ahead and go through it there. And then pick up 3 more seed beads. And what you're going to do is you're going to go around and back through the top hole, just like so. And now for extra security, I recommend that you go around that one more time. So just go up through, and you're just retracing, making sure to get through all of those seed beads. And we're going to go back down through. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure to catch that last one. So go through that last seed bead just one more time. There we go. So this side of the clasp is all nice and secure. So now I'm just going to kind of reorient my piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up one of my bugle beads. I'm going to pick up one seed bead and I'm going to go through that top hole there on that next Arcos bead, creating a little bridge. And now I'm just going to repeat and pick up one seed bead, one bugle bead, and I'm actually going to go down through this next seed bead. So you can see how it sort of creates. The other piece wants to come too. Creates a little angle. And you just repeat that. So pick up one bugle and one seed bead and go through the top. And one seed bead, one bugle, and go through the bottom. And this sort of creates that little sort of scalloped pattern. So just continue this all the way across. Okay, so I'm adding that last bugle and last seed bead, going through that top there. And now I'm getting to the portion where I'm going to go back down and finish off this side of the clasp in the exact same manner. So that is what the top row of that scalloping looks like. And now we're just gonna go through. And because there wasn't a seed bead here, I still need to add 6. So I'm gonna pick up 3, pick up that clasp, and then 3 more seed beads. And I'm going to go through that top hole, same as before. And again, I recommend that you definitely repeat and go through those seed beads, making sure to hit all of them. There we go. And those last 3. And again, just go down through, and you can do this in one step. Just catch that last seed bead there. And now you can flip your work around. And we're just going to repeat that scalloping on the other side. Okay, now I'm adding my last bugle bead, and I'm going to go down through that first hole right there and sort of bring those two sides together. So now all you have to do is follow your thread path here, and I'm going to go in through some of the main portion here and just tie off my thread. So all I'm going to do is just go behind and come up and go through that little loop and make a nice little knot. And just sort of go through that next bead. And I'm just going to repeat that just for security. Go down through, back up, and through that little loop. He got lost there, but there he is. And just go through that last little bugle bead. So now I'm just going to snip off my thread, and you can use a thread zapper or you can just use snips. So there's that. So all I got to do is I got to go back and rethread my needle and tie it off in the exact same way on the other side. But that is how to make the Aegean C bracelet. And again, just a note on sizing. This will give you a 6.5-inch bracelet If you'd like to make a longer bracelet, we do recommend that you get extra of the Arcos beads so that you'll make sure that you have enough to fill your length. So that is how to make the Aegean Sea bracelet. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can find more videos and all of these supplies at Beadaholique.com.